it with music, beautiful music. Hello, I'm Fred Miller, and this is yet another lecture in song, and this is my pal and colleague, Mr. Clyde here. Before we go into the life and career of Alan J. Lerner, a little bit about me. I was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico, had a great classical piano teacher, loved classics, I loved opera and all that. And then right on my 13th birthday, the Beatles arrived, and I was totally into the great rock songs of the 60s, right through high school. And then the summer after I graduated, a friend showed me an ad, I think, in a magazine about this big rock festival taking place in upstate New York, and I was out in New Mexico, but we looked at that lineup and we said, "Oh, we've got to go," and indeed we did. We went. We hitchhiked most of the way from New Mexico to the Woodstock Festival. We even showed up in the poster there. We were only 50 feet away from the stage the whole time. That was it for rock music. I had never wanted to be a rock musician. I didn't know if I could ever be a classical musician. I wanted to be a musician. I knew that much. Went to college, but I left very quickly. And traveled around the country and finally ended up in Greenwich Village. And at some point, somebody gave me an album of Ella Fitzgerald singing Cole Porter. There was my music, the world of Gershwin, Porter, Kern, Rogers, Berlin, Fred Astaire, Judy Garland, Ethel Merman, Frank Sinatra, Bing Crosby. I can't get over it still. I mean, the Great American Songbook. And I came up with the idea of a lecture and song, each one being a profile of a great personality or some aspect of American popular song. And I started initially just with songwriters and performers, thinking, oh, I'll have a dozen programs maybe. But over the years, I've expanded to 7 different categories and now 75 different lectures in song to date, anyway. And they're all described in detail at fredmillermusic.com. Alan J. Lerner, best known as being half the lyric writing half of Lerner and Lowe, the team second only to Rodgers and Hammerstein in that golden age of Broadway. He lived from 1918 to 1986. In his time, he wrote 13 musicals, 7 with Frederick Lowe, 4 musical screenplays, 2 Academy Awards for screenwriting, a charming biography memoir called On the Street Where I Live, a very interesting original history of musicals. He was a very complicated, difficult maybe tormented sort of fellow. I mean, apparently, Andre Previn said it took him longer to finish a lyric than an elephant in labor. He was a man of the theater. He wasn't just writing hit songs. He was writing for character, time, place, circumstance. Maybe the sun gave me the power, for I could swim Loch Lomond and would be home in half an hour. Maybe the air gave me the drive, for I'm all aglow and alive. What a day this has been, what a rare mood I'm in. Why, it's almost like being in love. There's a smile on my face for the whole human race. Why, it's almost like being in love. All the music of life seems to be like a bell that is ringing for me. And from the way that I feel when that bell starts to peal, I could swear I was falling. I could swear I was falling. It's almost like being in love. Well, the first Lerner in America was a Ukrainian Jew. He arrived in 1880-something and was a carpet merchant in Philadelphia. He had eight sons, one of whom, Sam, manufactured and retailed the shirtwaists that were so popular with women around the turn of the century. And by 1914, there were 40 stores called Lerner shops. One son, that's Sam's brother, was Joe, and that was Alan's father. He married a woman named Edith. Joe was quite the character, extravagant, flamboyant, spent money like crazy, made money like crazy, full floor-through apartments on Park Avenue, chauffeurs, maids, nannies, studied multiple languages, was a prodigious ballroom dancer and shameless philanderer. Alan described his parents' marriage. He said his father philandered, my mother spent money like a drunken sailor, and their marriage was a symphony in 3 movements, arguing, separating, and reuniting. Alan was the second of three sons. He was born in August of 1918 and was always the favorite. He was kind of the fair-haired boy, literally, in this family of dark Jews. He was, this kid, very artistic, and his mother really loved all that. Took him to musicals. Remember, he came of age in the 1920s when, so we got to see the first openings of Gershwin and Rodgers and Hart in Berlin and Porter and the Ziegfeld shows, and all, of course, from the best seats, the box seats. He had a